Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to 2023 here at USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the United Kingdom news and updates, and it's our 50th episode. Yay! Let's have a round of applause for that. I am super excited to welcome our esteemed panelists, our expert correspondents, so that we can find out all the latest and greatest that's going on over in the United Kingdom. Let's welcome from Texas, it's DIANN FLOYD BOEHM. Hello.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Good to see you.
Thanks.
I'm excited for our show today. How do you feel about 50 episodes, DIANN?
It is so hard to believe, and it's exciting times, and I just love being part of it, and the rest of the team. I'm always learning.
I am too. Let's welcome them. Joining us from Scotland, it's Simon MacDonald. Hello.
And a good Scottish New Year to you all too. It's a bit damp and wet here, but further up in the Highlands, we've got loads of snow.
Well, I just want to know, are you imbibing any libations, I should say, to stay warm?
Yes. It's a good 70 proof as well. It was excellent.
70 proof.
Should be passed out soon. Okay, and joining us, our expert correspondents from London, it's Helena Chard. Hello.
Hi. Happy New Year, everybody. And happy New Year to you.
Amazing. Yay, happy 50.
Woo. Okay. Woo.
Yay. And also joining us, Mr. Ian Pelham-Turner. Hello.
Good afternoon. I don't know where so many episodes have gone. It's gone in a flash, but it's been wonderful. And as everyone else is saying, a really happy New Year to everyone. Let's make it a great and prosperous New Year.
And a peaceful one too.
Amen.
Yay.
Absolutely. I'll drink to that.
Definitely. So I just want to bring up something I said backstage. Some people might think the only thing that's going on in the UK is Harry and Meghan, but that's not true. Even though all of the gossip papers in the checkout line at the grocery store would lead you to believe that. What are the feelings over there in the UK when you hear stories like this, or this is predominantly what we're hearing in the States about what's going on over there?
I find that so interesting because we don't know really what it's truly like with you, but it's in all your magazines. Is everybody speaking about it where you are? I mean, when you speak to people, is it all over the news? Is it on TV? Is it on chat shows? I'm just interested to hear. I mean, obviously we are sort of within the circle as such. So as royal correspondents, etc., we hear a lot of things. But I think even for us and fellow correspondents, you know, it's too much almost, you know, and I can't even believe I'm saying that because I love the royal family. I suppose it's this whole situation that, you know, we want peace. We do want peace in every single day. And that includes the royal family and obviously Harry and Meghan. And I don't know, my feeling is, and I know I've said this before, that I do feel that humility in the face of adversity is so important. And I do feel there's an awful lot of racing and blaming and heartache, and it's just all in public, and it's incredibly sad. I mean, obviously it's good to talk, as we know, but I also think at the moment that there's, I suppose from my personal opinion, whatever's happened, obviously there's a fallout, especially with Prince William and Prince Harry. It's just a shame that they can't actually talk out of the public eye. And I do feel there's a huge amount of money that's been offered, you know, from Netflix. You know, we've got the interviews coming, we've got Spare the Book coming on the 10th, and all the time it's a bit like mud throwing. And I just really hope that something can be salvaged, whatever it is. It's just a very, very sad situation. And I don't think it does anyone any good. I really don't think it does anyone any good. I mean, I could go on and on and on, and we'd have a whole show about this, but I'm not going to. I mean, in fact, I'm going to move on to something else, and we can sort of teeter back to it. No, in fact, no, I won't, because that takes it away. Apologies. you know, I think at the moment we've got Kate Middleton, the lovely Duchess of Wales. It's her birthday. She's 41 on the 9th. So that's on the Monday, I think, this coming Monday. I imagine it's very tense in their household because there are the interviews that we've all been, you know, speaking about and been led to believe that are taking place in the UK. We've got ITV, the interview with Prince Harry and Tom Bradby, who's a very good journalist. There's lots of things that have been mentioned. There's been lots of snippets. And I think that's taking place at 9 p.m. I know that Anderson, CBS, is it Anderson? I'm not too sure of his full name, but I think it's 60 minutes. Yeah, that's it. Anderson Cooper, thank you. 60 minutes. So that's going to be aired as well. How we see that, I'm not too sure. In the UK, people haven't got access to the channel. I guess you can see it online on their website or whatever it is. They'll launch that. But again, all of this is a run-up to Prince Harry's book Spare, which launches on the 10th. Now, if you think about it, you've got 2 interviews on Sunday the 8th. Then you've got the Duchess of Wales, her birthday, her 41st birthday on the next day, and then the launch of Spare. So I think a lot of people's hearts are in their mouths. It just it's slightly worrying, obviously, and I hope things will work out. And I think there is interest. My feeling is interest possibly in Prince Harry's from younger years and possibly grief, love, healing. There's a lot of trauma there, and let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. You know, what does everybody think? Just giving us a rundown of it. What's everybody's thoughts?
Yeah, I think they're really, you know, they're on about they're wanting their privacy. They're making a very public noise about wanting privacy, and you know, should they be airing their dirty washing in public the way they are? It's not going to heal anything by going public about this and making such a song and dance. This is something they should settle out amongst themselves and not start drawing a global population into the argument. I think it's you know, if you put yourself in that position as well, if you have a family dispute, do you want your neighbors and all the rest of the town to know about it? Because I don't think anybody would. So I think it's very sad that it has been made so public. And of course, it's big bucks that's involved in it as well. And with the sniff of that kind of money, I think anybody would probably be hard pushed to turn around and say, well, you know, $100 million, you know, for doing a few shows. Yes, please. But it's not the right decision. Really not. If they want to mend the bridges, they've got to do it personally and not publicly. That's my penny's worth.
So do you think we'll see another Netflix series hearing the other side of the story and it'll just go on and on?
No, absolutely no way. No, it's don't complain, don't explain. I think it's actually a very, very good you know, sort of saying to go and stick to.
Thank you. Ian, what would you like to share?
I think the reality is there's acrimony on both sides right now. You know, for me, looking at the publishing date, just after Kate's birthday, is that coincidental? It would be very strange for it to be used as a means of actually upstaging Kate. Who knows, you know, from that end. I think there's so much going on right now that, you know, with the royal family. And I'm of the opinion, I think like everyone else is, I think they need to find a way forward. I think the ideal platform for Harry and Meghan is to be really our strong ambassadors in the United States. But still be allowed to do some of the work that they wanted to do in UK as well. Basically, their sort of thought process was they would come out of the public purse, and otherwise they wouldn't be getting paid for any royal work anymore, but they were still prepared to spend 50% of their time doing charitable works with the charities that they worked with. I think that it was starting to get a little bit cruel when Harry wasn't allowed to wear a military uniform on certain occasions, and I think that's just a bit going too far with the situation as well. And I think good sense really needs to come into play at the moment, because you know, in the future now, a strong royal family will create opportunities for us in Britain, and hopefully for the United States as well. And I think, you know, America and Britain have always been the strongest of allies, and let's hope in some way we can actually create a situation now where people start to feel, especially the royal family, that they can talk to one another. Because now, you know, with this new book coming out, I don't know whether King Charles has been able to see an advanced copy of it. I don't know what has been going on in reality with these things. But as always, you know, it's a situation where I've watched the Netflix series now as well to sort of get their side of it. For me, a lot of what the Netflix series was showing with Harry and Meghan, their point of view, was the views that I shared anyway without actually even watching it. It was my particular opinion as well, and it was borne out by them at the same time. So I just feel at the moment that let's try and take the heat out of this year. You know, public opinion is, you know, let's try and get a united royal family again.
So I'm just interested in, thank you. So just, are you, so do you think by what you're saying, you think it's right, really, what Harry and Meghan are doing?
No, I think, I wouldn't say it's right, no, because all it's doing is causing more acrimony. But on the other hand, it's not right from the rest of the royal family to be creating a situation as well. Both sides have been putting, I think, oil on the flames in reality at the moment. And I think it's about time that the royal family remember we pay for them. We pay for them. And it's about time that they sort of start to sort of realize as well that by doing the types of things that they're doing, my feeling has always been that when Meghan had to sort of go back to America, it alienated again a large population of people, you know, of color in Britain. That was my feeling. And I think the reality is that basically these days, you know, Britain is a multicultural society. And I think, you know, that the reality of having Meghan as part of the royal family, it made that multicultural society feel that they were all being listened to, they were all being respected. Now, whatever has been going on behind the scenes, yeah, that's, you know, it's like any other job. They get on with it. They don't really create more issues for themselves. So no, Helen, I don't think, you know, what's going on at the moment is good at all, you know, from both sides. But I think, you know, when I listen to the Netflix series as well, I can understand that in reality, they were getting so much bad publicity. And where was that coming from? Who was feeding that in the first place? You know, from Buckingham Palace end, because that's where it was coming from. Why was all this happening? So I think, yeah, we should take the heat out of the situation right now. Absolutely. I don't think this is a good thing for Britain at all. But I think, as I say, at the same time, we pay for the royal family. And so it is time now for the royal family to set up a method of actually talking to one another, sorting themselves out.
It's from my point of view, it saddens me because I've worked with him for years and years, and he's gone from someone who's championed the royal family to someone who's become quite disparaging towards the royal family, and that really saddens me that the biggest champion of all faiths and colour and everything is King Charles III. And it seems, Ian, you've listened to a Netflix series, which has, given millions of pounds. And you are definitely rooting for Harry and Meghan. And that saddens me, because I don't know what's happened over the years of all the work that we've done together, but you do not have that same fire in your belly that you used to have. And that's sad.
I suppose in reality, I'm dismayed at what is going on. Totally, I'm dismayed that that in the past these things would have been dealt with much more amicably and worked forward. And the reality, as I say at the moment, is that basically, when I talk to sort of people in their sort of teens and 20s, there's not so much feeling for the royal family anymore. You know, I still am a royalist, but I want to be a realistic royalist as well. And things are changing so much, so quickly. And I think, you know, the reality with the royal family now is that they do need to find ways out of this. When I was on another channel and we were talking to some royal experts who were at one time the press officer for the royal family as well. And his private comment was that King Charles is just too weak to actually sort of sort this situation out. And, you know, as I say, you know, the allegations on both sides are distasteful. I get it. But what, you know, the royal family should remember, I feel, is that they represent a multicultural society. And in a lot of cultural eyes, in many different ethnicities in Britain at the moment, I think a lot of people just feel that they are disappointed that they feel that Meghan was pushed out.
They feel, that's the thing, they feel, but, you know, who knows? I think the problem, I think where I'm coming from, and also being a royal correspondent, and I suppose I can say this, is that we have contacts, we speak to people, yes, we can get advice, etc., but no one truly knows. And it's very easy for people to just state, it's almost like taking sides. And I really, really don't like it, because at the moment it's very much, you know, everything's been filmed, everything, the small little things, like, you know, when they were in the aeroplanes as Harry and Meghan, they said, oh, freedom, and they filmed themselves in the aeroplane yonks ago, because obviously their Netflix deal had been negotiated years ago. And you think to yourself, all of this was done so far in advance. You wouldn't have recorded so much of your life unless that was the case, and that's disappointing. But I think it's very easy for everyone to just jump to, you know, it's almost like the Harry and Meghan camp versus the William and Kate camp, and it's wrong, because there has not been enough information. You cannot have lots of things published from a one-sided stance and then make 100% judgments. And I suppose, having been a royalist for years and knowing that certain accusations are so not true, I hope there is a little bit of a two-sided balance in due course. Of course, the royal family would not stand up, and there wouldn't be some kind of throwing muck for retaliation and answering, because that's just not professional. I think there's lots of things, like the book has to come out, and I think we'll see how things go. But I think for everybody, the whole world, you know, the whole Commonwealth, we just hope this works, that things work out. But anyway, do you know what? I'm going to move on to something else. Can I just
Good.
we have got, guess what else is happening on Sunday? And hey, it's not the interviews. It's not the interviews at all. So we have got something that's coming up, which is called No Trouser Tube Ride.
What?
Whoa, Simon, do you have your kilt ready?
Yeah, I think this definitely calls for bringing that out the wardrobe.
But the interesting thing about the no trouser tube ride, this is something that's been going for quite a while, but obviously due to COVID, it's not been done for a few years now. But hey, this is a British spin on the no pants subway ride, which was in fact started in New York in 2002. I didn't know so much about it, but it's I mean, it makes you start thinking, oh my God, but actually it's I suppose viewed as an event, and it's been introduced by a company called the Stiff Upper Lip Society, and it's really just to create this event which is feel good. You're taking part in something silly in a January. Oh my goodness, we want some good news, we want some fun. And it's organised properly. People meet in Chinatown, but it's also they travel on the Queen Elizabeth line, which is obviously a very good line here, as we know, that the newer line to get people on. And there are some rules and regulations, absolutely. You obviously can't wear thongs and silly things, but I think also the other stance about it is you have to carry on as normal. So there's no giggling. You have to be completely straight-faced, reading the paper, all the things you may do. I just think it's a bit of fun. The only thing I would say is that I think something like that should have more of a charitable element. I don't know whether I've missed it. I possibly could have missed it, and I will look into that afterwards. But yeah, I feel it's something that should have charity and money related to it. Hey, it's come from New York, guys.
Yeah, I think definitely cause to wheel out the kilt for an occasion like that. I mean, it's the 9.5 yards of material in it. It's got plenty of natural central heating there, and at the same time, in the warmer weather, it's got excellent air conditioning. So we've got the best of both worlds wearing the kilt. I think it would be probably more acceptable wearing that on the train or the underground than thong or anything quite so risque. Yes, bring out the kilts for this one.
Are you planning on wearing a thong? Is that what you're saying? No.
No. I wouldn't even sing a thong.
Sing a thong. That's funny.
That is funny. So, Helena, what other news do you have for us today?
Oh goodness! Gosh, there is just there's so much of this royal stuff that's going on, but I have to say I do wish, I do feel sorry, and I do wish that Kate Middleton, Duchess of Wales, a really very happy birthday, happy 41st on Monday. We've had lots of something that's been in my mind is there's been lots of awards given out. So we've got, there's something, in my mind, the sky's the limit, and there's this is more of a charitable thing which I love. Club Soda, it's called. Now, Club Soda has been set up by a chap called Ollie Tipper, and he's been recently given an award. It's a sort of London Faith Community Award, and it's artists and music, artistic and music for people with learning difficulties. And he was saying how people with learning difficulties, I'm having a problem saying it, can be sidelined. And it's opened up an amazing place for them to bond and sing and just have a good time. So they've been given this award, well, he has, and he feels so excited to be recognised about it. And it just goes to show that to shine a light on something, and it's just something small, an everyday person that's set this up. It's amazing, and it's so inspirational. And actually hearing some of the people talk who are part of this people with learning difficulties, it's their life, and it's given them everything. And I just find that incredibly exciting. And I suppose it's a little bit of a twist on the new honours list that's come out. I mean, so many people have been given some honours this year. by King Charles III. But I just thought it was lovely to speak about Club Soda, and it'd be really good, I think, to bring some people on the show as well to share their story.
I think that's a great idea. I remember when we had Celebrate Great Britain Royally Rich, and we had a number of fabulous guests, many of whom are team members now. So I love that idea.
Yeah, I'm just going to hark back there a little bit, rewind a little bit. This Sunday, did you say it's no trousers on the train day? I think it's going to be no train on the trousers. I think it's going to be no train on the trousers day. They're all out on strike.
I would have not thought about that. Actually, you could be right. No, I think it's going to be fine. So no trouser tube day. That's what it is.
No trouser tube day. Oh, right. Okay. Well, it's a train.
Yeah.
Because all the drivers, they're all out on strike now.
Diane, you're on mute.
We are.
I said, so the strike will be over by Tuesday, right?
Maybe. No, I doubt it. It seems to go on and on and on. This is one of the problems we've got in the UK just now. It's I think everybody's probably finding this cold weather, they all want to hibernate, so let's go and strike instead. And we've got a crisis on the railway lines with the strikes escalating. Our male men are going on strike as well. And nurses as well, which is a really serious situation that we've got. Our health service over here is in a very, very desperate state just now. And they're scratching their heads for solutions, how we're going to get out of it. I mean, I recall they built these Nightingale hospitals, taking over the Exhibition Centre in London and the SSCC in Glasgow and various other locations through the country to build a temporary hospital basis to allow for the overflow and the overspill of the COVID patients. Well, of course, they've been dismantled. I think now's the time. They've got to very hurriedly put them back into place again to take the overspill that we've got now in our hospitals. And they say a lot of the overspill is because there are a lot of people in the beds who they're ill, but they're not desperately ill thing, which they could be put somewhere else for care to free up hospital beds. So here we are, these Nightingale hospitals, temporary hospitals, ideal opportunity. Let's get them built, and then we can start smoothing out the issues with the health service in the UK. Everybody seems to be going on strike. Not me. I'm still available.
So I have a question. Do y'all have what's called minor emergency over there, and they have beds where you can stay, 24 hours, sometimes 48?
Do you mean like emergency
I think
rooms?
the situation here is there's no such thing as a minor emergency now. It's a national crisis.
Okay.
more like it rather than a minor emergency. Wishful thinking for a minor emergency now. I mean, ambulances are becoming a bit of a rare thing. They're all parked up outside the hospital with the patients inside them, waiting for an opportunity to get into the hospital.
Yeah.
So people are being advised now, only call for an ambulance if it is absolutely critical, and if possible, bring the patient in yourself. So that's when you get the patient there, it's what do you do with them? Where do they go? Do you join on the queue with the 10, 15, 20 ambulances that are waiting, parked outside, waiting to get their patients offloaded into the hospital or what? It's a very difficult situation just now. Not a good time to be ill, I can assure you. Not in the UK anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's really tough.
Oh, sorry, Diane.
No, it's okay. I just know that once we had some backup pre-COVID, even where my brother, who now is in heaven, but he had suffered from diabetes really bad, and the hospital was so backed up that the gurneys were in the hallways, and I know I stayed with them for almost 2.5 hours before they had a bed. So do y'all put people in the hallways on the gurney, and the nurses can check on them until the room happens, or is it you have to wait till the room is completely open?
No, well, the corridors are full in quite a lot of
Oh, they
the
are.
hospitals. They say they're even having to wait in the ambulances outside
Yeah, I
as
caught
well.
that.
There's no room in the hospital in the corridors even. So
That's
it's
amazing.
very, very difficult situation.
Very scary. You never know what could happen to somebody waiting in the corridor. So
Absolutely, yes.
It's true. I was just going to ask if one of you can explain to people who are not familiar with the healthcare system in the UK, because it's different than other places in the world. Can someone explain about NHS?
Yeah, National Health Service is it's essentially
sorry, it was started in 1948, and the idea behind it was that each of us during a work lifetime actually paid so much percentage of our wages into what was called the National Insurance Stamp, and that actually financed the National Health Service, and has and obviously with government support, that's how the National Health Service has actually carried on. The problem nowadays is that there's been severe cutbacks by the government on the National Health Service over the past 10 years. And so a lot of the nurses and doctors that were here before, and especially from Eastern Europe, for example, have gone home. And so we have 90,000 nurses alone, shortage in UK. And so what's happening at the moment now is that the health minister is saying, well, we've got an agreement through a middle body, if you like, that decides unanimously away from the government what the pay award should be. And I think the reality then is that the health unions are saying this is nowhere near enough. And so basically, the government is saying, if we start giving pay awards of 10 or 11%, or as in the nurses' case, they're wanting 19% pay increases. This is the figure that's been bandied around. Then all that's going to really happen is that inflation is going to carry on as well at the same time. But then some startling figures are coming out at the moment, because one of the heads of the hospital trusts in Britain was now saying that because of the problems with strikes alone, he expected 500 extra deaths every week happening because the medical services are not there. So what's really hit the NHS more than anything was the pandemic in 20 to 2021, and that put huge strains on it. And Simon was right that these Nightingale hospitals were set up, these temporary hospitals were set up in really large arenas to actually sort of try and work with people who had got COVID. The problem now is that they could set these up again, but the problem is they don't have the staff to look after the patients, and that's where the problem starts.
that's tough.
Yeah, I think the rate of people, staff, nurses and doctors leaving the health service is actually greater than those joining it. So it's a steady drain on the resources. In a way, you can't blame them. I mean, they are really, really working, like you've never worked before, and with the wage increases which they have had has not kept up with inflation. So effectively, it's actually they're getting a wage cut and not a wage increase. So it's a very sad situation. I can understand on the government's point of view that COVID had drained resources drastically and really emptied the coffers all round, and not just in the UK Parliament, the Scottish Parliament have had exactly the same problem as well. And it's been a huge drain in resources, and they just haven't got the facility to catch up on that immediately. So it's going to be a long, slow process, I think, before we get back on our feet. And I hasten to add, it's not just affecting the UK. I mean, I think there's 5 major economies in the world are struggling just now. So this is a global issue now. It's not just localized to the UK. It's a global problem.
I agree with that completely.
Helena, you've got something else cheery to do.
Anything positive.
Happiness. Happy news.
I think Helena's frozen.
I think so.
So based on what we just heard, are any of you doing anything differently to make sure that you keep yourself safe in terms of your health?
I think the reality is, I think we all are, in our different ways. That the problem has been that so many of the costs have gone up in the past few months, and especially the inflated prices of heating and energy, for example. And we've had this situation for some time now, whether we heat or we eat, because of what's going on. And I think that from a health perspective right now, again, people of my age group, now just cannot afford to keep warm. And so, and even then with food prices are going up extraordinarily at the same time. And I think, that at the moment, good sense needs to come to play right now. I think there are issues with the unions as well. I think they've bandied together to actually create a very effective means of bringing and stopping Britain in its tracks right now at the same time. But on the other hand, the government hasn't been really capable of finding formulas or attitudes that will surpass all of this and try and find a middle ground. So I think, from a health perspective right now, a lot of people try to remain as healthy as possible. But the problem is, as I say, with health right now, it is a growth problem. I think we're up to a 5 million wait now for people wanting operations. Sometimes they're waiting 4, 5, and 6 years, for things to happen as well at the same time. So it's not a happy picture right now, but this can be changed. And I think, again, in reality, austerity didn't start at 2020. It started in 2010, after the previous Conservative government really decided to try and balance the books by cutting on everything at the same time. And so that's where I think the National Health Service have had a problem. But on the other hand, I do believe as well, there's a lot of wastage going on in the National Health Service as well. And so perhaps a new formula needs to be applied.
Thank you, Ian, very much. We have a comment from one of our team members, our expert travel correspondent, Sandy Adams, in the house with us. Hello. She writes, what percentage of people have private medical insurance?
Yeah, that's actually quite an interesting one, because there was, with the delays and the long waiting list that we've got now with the National Health Service, there are more and more people looking to go privately, and whether they've got insurance for it or not. So the number of people applying for private medical insurance is certainly increasing. But at the same time, we're now getting waiting lists in the private sector as well. So because there's so many people who say, well, I'm not waiting 3-4 years for an operation. I need to go private. And there's so many people doing that now the private sector is in itself starting to get quite a lengthy waiting list.
Are there physicians that only handle private cases?
Harley Street's full of them, yes. Yes, no, there are a lot, but there are a lot of doctors and surgeons and so on who will handle both National Health Service and private patients. And of course, obviously, they're getting paid well for the private ones, so they'll prioritize them. But as I say, the list are just getting so long now that it's affecting both sides.
Thank you so much for that, Simon. Helena?
I'd just like to say that the having had friends and family who have been in hospital and had friends and family waiting in corridors for over 24 hours and unfortunately not getting the help they need. A lot of the private healthcare, in fact, they rely on the NHS anyway. So you may be able to be springboard to have a scan or something very quickly, but a lot of the time they don't have everything to hand that's required. So everyone thinks, oh, we'll go private, but a lot of the private practices do rely on the NHS. It's not quite as seamless as you think, which is sad. And it's quite interesting because obviously Rishi Sunak, who is our Prime Minister, he obviously is private, and I think a lot of people are feeling quite angry towards him because he's saying, you know, the NHS has got enough money is pumped into it, absolutely fine. We just have to sort of work towards streamlining things. But do you know what? They've introduced food banks into hospitals for the staff. So that says something, doesn't it?
That's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I just was thinking to myself that Diane, you're on mute. Just 1 second. I was thinking we need to have Sandy Adams on this program because she's our expert when it comes to travel. We want people to come to the United Kingdom. We want people to visit. So we need to have Sandy on the show to work with you all about where are the places to go and when people should come. So Sandy, invitation for you to join us. Ian, something you wanted to add?
I think, yeah, I mean, Great Britain is a great place to visit. You're quite right, and I think the reality at the moment is, although we're going through troubled times, we desperately need the American dollar, you know, the yen, all the different currencies coming back into this country. A large proportion of our hospitality industry at the moment is agog waiting for people to come back. As well. And I think, from a tourism perspective, you couldn't get a finer holiday if you're from, a warmer climate like America to come across and learn about the heritage and culture of Great Britain itself as well. And I think, we're all very prepared and ready for hopefully a very good spring and summer. And obviously the biggest event that we will be, Helen and I will be looking at, is obviously the King's commemoration and crowning, in a few months' time. And I think, that will have a lot of people coming back again as well. And it's one of these things that I think, we want to see more people coming back into the country safely. I think there's been so many problems over the past 2 to 3 years, and perhaps now really is the time for Britain again to, blow its chest out and sort of talk about the real beauty and the pomp and ceremony that you'll see over the next few months.
Thank you so much. You know what? I was just thinking, you are also knowledgeable about the United Kingdom. Maybe you should start your own tour company. Celebrity tour guides.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. We need some more people coming up to Scotland as well. And it was interesting, I was watching on television there the other night that with the current weather patterns, the Alps in Switzerland and France are world famous for their skiing industries. And they've got no snow. They've got the hottest temperatures they've had in the winter for a long, long time. And the ski slopes have just diminished and dwindled away to almost nothing. Now, in Scotland here, we've got a skiing industry here as well. And it's quite a well-established skiing industry. And the unfortunate thing was actually last week, 2 of the ski resorts in Scotland were closed, because they were blocked with snow. You couldn't get to them. So It's a bit ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stop your car, get out, get your skis on, and then ski the next 20 miles to get to the ski resort. So we've got snow, we've got buckets of the stuff. So come over here. The skiing season is open, and come and enjoy your skiing in Scotland. It's and enjoy our hospitality as well. We've got plenty good food and some very, very fine whiskey as well. So that's not just the skiing, but it's the après ski, which is a lot of people regard as probably being the most important part of a skiing holiday anyway. So here we are, we're open for business. So there we are, another good news bit at last.
Yay. And also you'll have the wonderful West End. So
yeah, it's beautiful. In fact, it's one of my New Year's resolutions, and I'm not really someone that does millions of them, is in fact we have so much in the UK. We have wonderful productions on our doorstep. And one of my things is that I am going to actually try and visit everything, because it's such a shame, obviously we're working, we're busy like everyone is. But we have so much over here, so many wonderful museums, so many artists, so many things on display, so many magical places to go and magical people. So that's one thing that I want to do. And also having people come over, especially from the States, we just really want it. We really look forward to it. And just to say that the coronation is on the 6th of May. So that's the time to plan your flights over. And there's some fantastic hotels as well doing great deals. The coronation, 6th of May, Westminster Abbey. Archbishop of Canterbury also conducting it. And there's so much to see, so much excitement. And I just think that we're all so happy, and we just want lots of people back. We want it to be thriving as it's always been.
2023 is an opportunity that could make Britain great again, if we let it be that way.
Well, it's always been great in my eyes.
Well, I thank you all for being here today, and it's been a great show, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the year and more episodes. And I was thinking, when we're talking about Westminster Abbey, you've brought some incredible performers here. When we had Celebrate Great Britain Royally Rich, maybe we can look into that as well, if they're not when they're not performing, I should say.
That'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go around as we always do, and whatever you want to share with the audience about how to reach you, or what you're doing, or just some words of kindness. We'll start with Diann.
Well, thanks a lot. I'm just going to go ahead and start. It is the brand new year, and I am all about people really remembering to keep love in your heart, to be kind of others, and remember, a smile goes a long way for someone that you don't know. It can bring a smile to their heart because someone smiled back at them. Thank you. Thanks,
Diann. Fabulous. Over to Simon, who's getting ready with his thong. Go ahead, Simon.
Wrong or song? It's wrong. I'd like to say, Happy New Year to absolutely everybody, and especially to the crews currently in the Cape Town to Rio yacht race just now. I've got friends there who are in the race this year, and they're sailing the oldest boat in the race. It's a 50-year-old boat, which was actually, it's ironic, this is the 50th episode of this program, and it was 50 years ago that the Cape de Rio race was inaugurated, and this boat sailed in the first race. Old stager of a boat called the Impossible Machine. It belongs to quite a well-known singer in South Africa, but I know a number of the crew there, so I wish them well. They set out, I think, the day before yesterday on the leg of the race, and fair weather, following winds, and good seas.
There you go.
Very, very nice. Thank you. All right, over to Helena.
Happy New Year to everyone as well. And I think a couple of things that I want to say. Firstly, something that I've worked on for years and years and years, and I think we all do on this platform too, but sharing uplifting, powerful, constructive news and stories, obviously with advice. It ignites conversation, and it creates positive change, but it helps towards creating positive change. And it's something that we all should hang on to and always be promoting, in a way, good news stories. But secondly, this is something that's something I've been looking into as well. New Year, you think of all these New Year's resolutions, but something I'd looked into as well, obviously to look back and reflect is very, very important. But there is something which is to do with Dutch lifestyle. My brother-in-law is from Holland, and it's something called Nixon. And we should not reprimand ourselves and feel that we should always be working towards something and racing. Nixon is the concept of doing nothing. And it is something that if you feel overwhelmed or a little bit like, oh gosh, I should be doing whatever, actually do nothing is fabulous for our mental well-being. And it doesn't mean you do literally nothing. You can if you want to. You can watch TV. You can just look out the window and just look at the trees or wildlife. And it does wonders and it combats overwhelm. And that's called Nixen, Niksen, which I've in fact just learned about. So I wanted to share it with everybody.
Thank you, Helena. That's new to me as well. So I appreciate that. I always like to learn. And final word to Mr. Ian Palm-Turner.
Thank you. I think I'm reading Michelle Obama's book at the moment, and basically the first few chapters about how she got through 2020 for herself, and how she was obviously refined and confined to the house along with the former president, and how she took up knitting. And then she really said that in order to sort of find an answer to anything, you take a stitch at a time. And you build a line, and then you take on the next line, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And I think baby steps in all our lives next year or this year, I should say now, that will create value for ourselves and for everyone else. That's what I would like to be seeing in everybody's lives. And I think, again, like all of us, I think this year can be a very strong year. And I really do hope that common sense and values prevail in every area of this country, and that we move forward and have a really happy and prosperous new year, along with our United States folks as well. We want to have a peaceful, happy world.
Hear, hear. Well said.
Very well said.
And I love that analogy about one stitch at a time. That's really good. Really good. And I would just share that I am so grateful for all of you being here and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. We had a great 2022. And as some of you may know, I went over to our YouTube channel, which is one of the places where we stream. And I just looked at the numbers from 2020, which was, I think we started in October. I'm not positive, but from where we were then to where we are now, we are just going up this way. And it's because of each and every one of you and all of the loyal followers that we have, people who are commenting, liking, sharing, our team, our sponsors. I just want to say thank you. It is such an amazing feeling and place to be, knowing that we are giving people the ability to share their stories. We're providing education, hope, and inspiration. So thank you to each of you. I love you. And I just can't say enough how much it means that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We wouldn't be here if it not been for you, Dr. JACALYN.
This is true.
Your inspiration and your commitment is it's immeasurable. You are doing an absolutely incredible job. I'm getting lost for words. As I I mean, really, you've done an incredible job to bring the station together and make it as popular as it is, and it is a true global station. I know people all over the world, including in the yacht race today as well. Somewhere between Cape Town and Rio, there's a boat bobbing along in the ocean there, and they're still trying to keep their internet connection going to watch this show
Wow.
live as it
Wow.
streams on YouTube.
That's so cool. I love it. Well, again, it's because of the mentorship. It's because of the coaching. It's because of the friendship. That's what it's all about. So I know I wouldn't be here if it weren't for each of you. So please take that to heart and know that I really mean it.
Will do. Great show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great show. Well, we have to go because our next show is coming up, and it's Global Adventures with the lovely Janetta Barry. And we are going to be learning all about Antarctica today. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be back shortly. Bye, everyone. Happy New
Bye,
Year.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.